I think that is something to consider. Which leads me to this clip right here. This is Bitcoin. I'll get into the normal Bitcoin intro in a minute, but this is a segue. This is Craig Wright, Satoshi Nakamoto, being interviewed by a guy this guy is a very skilled interviewer. I was watching, and as only the English tend to be. A very skilled interviewer. But he doesn't understand Bitcoin or Craig Wright. He hasn't done his research, obviously. Craig Wright likes to wear red socks. But not red shoes. Here's a clip.
I've got a patent on a $14 trillion industry where we can...
This intro is him responding to the last question about just something, some inane question that he keeps responding to, saying, look, I have the patents here. We're going to do it my way. But the next question is quite interesting, or the next segment.
Reduce the fees to Walmart by $500 million a year.
Bitcoin can create such an efficient... People say Bitcoin's inefficient. Bitcoin's real, unique selling proposition to a business is its insanely high efficiency. Never before on Earth has such an efficient system been created. Efficient and secure, one might add. Oh, in terms of ledgers and money. The transaction fees they're already 1/10 of a cent. Think about what you pay for... it costs PayPal 80 cents a transaction. It costs them that, on average. That's their cost of sales for a transaction. That's a very kind of scrambled together number from their financial statements. But that's cost of sales. That's not like all of their expenses. Walmart helps send money. They do Western Union transfers. Their costs on that are significant. Even though exorbitant fees, yeah, but it does take a lot of... Take it from a guy who has been in the ledger business for 15 years. That's accounting. There's a lot of work that goes into making sure a ledger is accurate. For one small business even. By small I mean, does a few million in business a year, has some complex accounting situations. That is expensive. So much of this can be automated and secured in the way it's necessary to be secured to provide the assurance necessary. And that's what he's talking about when he says Bitcoin can save Walmart $500 million. I'm going to take this back a second just so we can get the bit here.
Walmart by $500 million a year. Walmart.
Do you care that your integrity is called into question here?
Do you think I care?
I don't.
I've got a patent on a $14 trillion industry where we can reduce the fees to Walmart by $500 million a year. Do you think Walmart will go $500 million or Aussie bad man? Aussie bad man, $500 million. I don't know about you, but I think the guys in Walmart will care more about the $500 million.
You may be right that...
Craig Wright is the Donald Trump of money. He's so hated. In fact, not only is he hated, and not only did they try, in what this absolute jackass brilliant interview is about to accuse him of, is, oh yes, Craig, but we could always put money before humanity, and but that's the opposite of what Craig does. This guy is, he's like my hero, man. This is a quote from Craig recently, after the bust for CP happened, because they're using Bitcoin. He says, I will never fully succeed in my goal of ending monetary corruption and crime, but I will work on this without fail. If I don't succeed, I will die trying. Craig Wright is a stand-up guy who hates crime. And people always say, ooh, if you're Satoshi, why don't you just prove it? Which you could easily prove it. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't be proof of anything necessarily, but it would would be evidence, potentially. Why don't you just move some of the original Bitcoins that Satoshi had? Why didn't Trump just go arrest people on day one in office? Why would he interrupt his opponent when they're in the process of destroying themselves? This just gives him more time to have them all wanking in a circle, which this is literally how he describes it. I won't even get as graphic as he does. Why would he interrupt them from destroying themselves, his enemies? Because his enemies, it's not just people who want to get involved and make money. These people are enabling, as you saw from the news, Future Proofs Past, they are enabling child abuse. And when I made a tweet about this, saying that he's rooting out the worst corruption in society, he gets ridiculed for the pleasure, just like Donald Trump. People said, oh, the worst crime. Oh, what, like stealing some money? Like wash trading? No, these people they seek to enable human trafficking. They seek to enable child abuse. That's why Craig Wright in court said on the record, that's why I left Bitcoin, because people were using his invention to fund horrible things. I'm going to play this after the end. There's 2 minutes left. I mean, I'm obviously going to stop it.
A big corporate would care more about profits, but I guess society also cares about integrity and people. And I would love you to be proven to be Satoshi, but
so
I kind of...
what you're saying is, you don't do my way, that's not integrity. We want this. We demand you do this.
No,
we want Bitcoin to be this way.
Suggest.
No.
Suggest.
Demand. It's demand. You want me to be what you want me to be, so therefore...
You're right. I have no right to insist on that, but I guess what I would say in concluding our bit is that your patent fortress, which you talk about so readily, is the bit that worries me a little bit, because it's forcing your way. You want us to all be your way. And
it's my invention.
Legally.
Invent something else.
Us. That's probably a very good piece of advice at that moment. In the meantime, I'd like us to invite the next speaker on to join us, because we're now going to go into a duel. Just to say, before the duel starts, there's a little known fact that people don't know about Craig, and that is he tries to grow tomatoes at home.
This will be relevant later.
Doesn't help, does it?
No, I actually used to have bonsai trees as well, and they're all dead now. I had some really good old bonsai trees, and bloody Enchain and all the travel I have to do, every single one of them's dead. And my tomatoes they keep bursting and things like that because I'm not there to do things. And the gardener sucks because the last time he actually mowed my pumpkins.
That's probably not advisable. Please send us and tweet a picture of your mowed pumpkins next time. It will be revolutionary.
I'll make sure I do.
Thank you. So put your hands together and
the things we sacrifice.
Thank Craig for the fireside.
Now, that pumpkin bit may seem irrelevant, but it will become incredibly relevant soon. If you've been following what's going on in Bitcoin, you already know where that's going. I saw in the chat here, Cincinnati Jack said, if we could only get Bix Weir to debate me on Craig Wright BSV, that would be epic. Consider this a challenge to a duel, not an actual duel with pistols at dawn. A duel to discuss Bitcoin, Bix Weir. Let him know. Let's do it. Let's discuss. And I don't mean like, be combative, but come on, Bix, let's talk. Let's discuss this. Bix, I was a huge fan of you for years. Well, I don't know, a year or so. Whenever I discovered you, probably a couple of years. And Bix Weir, I will credit you with being the first guy to know that white hats were somewhere in control of the government. The first guy to come up with this theory years before Q. Like 7 years before Q. He knew this was happening at the Fed. And his theory, he's a very smart guy, very astute guy. But he misunderstands what's going on in Bitcoin. But Bix Weir, I will destroy you in this debate. Okay, but a friendly debate. That's like a friendly destruction. CryptoPlanet says, Bix sold out so hard, hope you get a boatload. Do you think where do you think he gets his, where does he, he has his road to Ruta. Private road members. Get the newsletter out this morning. My wife says, get out the house and go in the greenhouse. Skype wants someone to schedule my next call? Oh, Skype. Okay, next on the docket, and Diddy, I'm going to call you next, Diddy Whedon, who you very well may know from the chat. I'm going to get Diddy on, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin SV because she's a big fan of it. And a little lead into this, I said to do the original crypto intro. I'm going to do it now.
Ooh, Bitcoin! Ooh, Bitcoin! I've never heard of Bitcoin.
That's a hell of a thing to ask.
Daddy, what's a sausage?
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories.
These are all the various shitcoin cryptocurrencies. The reason I'm always on about Bitcoin SV is because Bitcoin is a system. It's like the Wright brothers invented the airplane. This is one that Craig Wright was talking about recently. They invented the system of the airplane. And yes, it improved. We went from the shitty biplane to the 747. But the core design is the same. It's the same core design still to this day. And there are some inventions like that. The same core design, which is wings, some kind of thrust, generate lift, airplane with humans inside. And Bitcoin SV keeps that system. This one, they totally changed it. Totally changed it. I'm not going to go into the details of how. Same thing with Bitcoin Cash, which was a fork off of Bitcoin, BTC, which this isn't Bitcoin. They're going to not be able to call it this eventually because it's not Bitcoin. Then it forked again to Bitcoin SV. Boom. That's the very short story of what's happening there. So with that in mind, did I have another point about this? Oh, I'm gonna save this clip for Diddy to comment on. Oh, I don't want to spoil it. Okay, Diddy, I'm gonna call you right as soon as I can get this pulled up here, right about now. Boom. And I hope I haven't used Google Hangouts in a while. I hope it works proper. Time Google Hangouts. Microphone good, speakers good. Diddy, if you get this, if you're hearing this, feel free to give me a call where I just called you, where we were talking on the chat earlier. Oh, there we go. Answer. Boom. Diddy Whedon? Diddy Whedon?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. Hello. It worked.
Good to see you.
My goodness.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No. I've just. Yeah. I've got you. Look. I've got you in my ear.
Oh, look at
here.
that. Perfect. Can I put you on? Can I put you on the screen?
Yes, of course you
boom.
can.
Okay, great.
I'm going to turn my phone off and listen to you talking to me.
Diddy Whedon.
Hello.
In the house. How
Hello,
you doing?
everybody. Can you hear me fine?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Can everybody hear Diddy Whedon fine?
Marvelous.
How you doing today? How's it going? What do they say in England?
Wait, hey up me duck. It's going very well, thank you.
Oh,
but where
good.
I'm from in Nottingham, you say hey up me duck.
Hey up me duck. Cool.
Aha.
So, are you excited about Bitcoin?
Am I? Sorry, say that again.
Are you excited about what's going on in Bitcoin?
Oh my God, yeah. Completely. I must admit, do you want to know my story about how I found out about Bitcoin?
That's literally my first question on my list.
Okay, so I'll try and be quick, but I do have a lot to say, so I might not be as quick as you want me to be.
Take your
Basically,
time.
I used to do HTML website design, and I was looking for pay-to-click advertising, and then I came across something called BTC in the pay-to-click advertising kind of section on the internet, and then that got me a bit interested because I didn't know what it was. So then I found, and this is about December 2016, I found Amanda B. Johnson, that was Dash, which is where you came from. Yeah, or at least I think that's how I came across yourself, because you were working for Dash. And then there was Trevon James, and then from all of that got me interested in trying to understand Bitcoin a little bit better. But when I first was into Bitcoin at the beginning, it was micropayments, and I had this amazing, oh God, what are they called? The little things where you earn, oh shoot, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it was on my phone, and I used to be able to earn micropayments through this little program that was on my phone, on my iPhone. And I earned about $50 worth of Bitcoin, BTC. And then obviously what happened was the hard fork with BCH and then BSV. However, following Craig made me understand actually how Bitcoin really works. And it's not just about trading and making lots of money. It's more because I make music and I act and I try and play the saxophone and I try and paint. That's not one of my paintings, though. And I was a finance manager at one point, so this is why it kind of interests me. And the fact that I do HTML, website design and social media, etc., it all kind of made a lot of sense. So what I wanted to do as an artist was to be able to upload my artwork onto the BSV blockchain so that I have that copyright and that copyright is protected. And following Craig made me understand exactly how Bitcoin works, that it's not just about being a cash kind of, it's not about just being cash. You can actually use it to help yourself as an artist to protect your own copyright, etc. So, and also to make micropayments from that. Also, the other thing that I wanted to do with Bitcoin is to actually move my website, which is on an external server, onto the BSV blockchain, so that I can host it on the blockchain, just pay one fee for it to be uploaded onto the blockchain, and then literally not have to pay any more server fees unless I just want to change a page. So the way that I see Bitcoin is I'm looking at it from a technical point of view. And I'm not looking at it. I mean, obviously, I'd love to make money out of it. It'd be absolutely phenomenal. But with what I did was I invested £1,000 worth into BSV. And when that went up in value, so it cost me £44 when I got BSV, and I had 22 of them. I don't have that many anymore, because what I did was when it went up in value, I actually paid for myself to do a metaphysics degree, master's and PhD, which is what I'm doing at the minute. And so this is my favorite book at the moment. Can you see?
Oh yeah. Satoshi's Vision, The Art of Bitcoin, Craig Wright.
Oh yeah. And weirdly, my birthday is on the 9th of the 6th, and I kind of opened it up, and this is the page I'm on at the moment, which is, can you see security? And it's basically page number, see that? 69.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's my kind of, in a very short, well, short and brief as I can be, yes. And I love Craig. I think he's brilliant. I think you're brilliant, but I think Craig Wright is a superhero.
Isn't he a superhero? Why? Tell me why you think. Can you tell me why you think he's so hated? Why so many people hate him, and why you think he's a superhero?
Oh well, one thing, he's Australian, so I don't think people don't. I don't think people understand. Like, obviously, I don't think a lot of people understand his sense of humour, and I don't think people understand him himself. Like, the guy has 16 or 17 degrees. He's got 2 or 3 PhDs. He's super, super intelligent. He's got Asperger's, so he's not the most social of people. However, his heart is in a really good place, and I think the reason he compels me to want to learn more is because his heart is in the place of wanting to protect not only children, but every single person that's on the internet. And I think that is a mighty tall order for someone to actually want to do and try and achieve. I also think he should have some protection himself. I think what people don't like about him is he's just very straight to the point. He says what, like, everything is kind of, in a sense, black and white. He says what he means. He's got no airs and graces about that. And, like, if you don't like him, tough shit. He doesn't care. And I actually like that, because he knows who he is. He knows what he wants to achieve. He knows how to do it, and he's doing it. And I think when I first came on board with Bitcoin as well, there was a guy called Adam Meister, and he used to say that Bitcoin was for everyday people. It wasn't for microtransactions. And I used to have quite a few debates in my head, and kind of like leaving in messages and things that didn't make what he was saying. It didn't make sense to me, because micropayments was exactly what it was all about. I tell you what I did as well. I have a friend who's in Nigeria. He's a lot younger than me, and I actually sponsored him to go through school, college, university, and I actually paid to help him have an education. And one of the things I did a couple of years ago, I sent him £10 worth of Bitcoin. And recently, about 2 months ago, he had a look to see how much it was worth, and it was enough to be able to pay for all his final exams. So my friend Monday, who is I call him my little brother, I kind of adopted him as my little brother, unofficially over the internet. I helped for him to be able to achieve that goal of getting himself a decent education. So in one sense, BTC helped in that regard. 2 years ago, Nigeria weren't prepared. The banks in Nigeria weren't prepared to turn BTC into cash, but actually 2 months ago, they turned BTC into cash for him. So I see that there is progress in some areas. Obviously, the news yesterday about the 337 criminals that got arrested was, for me, one of the best things that's happened in a long time, because it shows that it works for what it is supposed to do. It's not a crime coin, it's to help prevent crime. And that also, for me, is, as being someone who's been scammed a lot on the internet, is something that I also feel is greatly needed. I'll shut up now.
Oh, that's all great. Feel free to go on as long as you like. I was enjoying the story. And
I can talk for England if you want me to.
You can talk for England? The whole of the country? I don't know if Her Majesty would appreciate that.
I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with me, but there you go.
But in regards to Craig, you said he has a good heart, and that's what I see in him too. And it's it's a rare thing to see in someone who has such a big platform. And he talks a lot about, he talked about this, as you said, 337 people busted. He's talked about that a long time. We talked about it in court. He talked about people are going to be busted. He said there's going to be so much more. He said, did you see that he said there would, if you think this is some bloodshed about these people getting caught, just wait. There will be rivers of blood of these people being caught. And you also notice, he's always going on about these people. They want to launder money. They want to use it for illicit crimes. And nobody else, besides people talking to Craig and related to Bitcoin SV, nobody seems to care. Have you noticed how all these people, you mentioned these other names that I don't know all of the other names, but nobody cares about this stuff. They just care about, making money off the exchanges.
Making money. Yeah, completely. That's where Tone Vase, I call him the plank.
What do you call him?
I call him the plank.
The plank?
Plank, plank.
Because he looks like a plank?
No, because he is a plank. It just boggles my mind that these people have this platform and they don't even understand what they're talking about. I mean, even when Craig sees Tone, he can just annihilate him in a look. When Roger sees Tone, he just literally, all he has to say is about 10 words and that's it. Tone is just annihilated again because he doesn't actually understand the concept of what Bitcoin is all about. He just thinks it's about trading and making money, and it's not about that. And also, I know it's like Craig says, with the patents, it does actually matter who owns the patents, because, if everybody's going to have to pay licensing fees to be able to use the BSV blockchain, it's a bit like a musician in this country. You pay PRS, which is Performing Rights Society, to protect you as a musician so that you can earn revenue on a micro scale from any music that you have that's actually out there. So with BSV, you can just do it yourself. It's a peer-to-peer, and you just do that yourself, and you remove the middleman, the PRS kind of thing. So I understand there's going to be a lot of, bigwigs that are very upset with Craig because he's going to put people out of business. But then on a normal level, how many 8 billion people in the world plus so are going to be extremely happy? Well, maybe not 8 billion, but there's 8 billion people, as far as I know, in the world who are going to be quite happy when this actually turns into a system where they can actually make money. I mean, I love his plan for giving out, was it 500? It was a very large amount of mobile phones to sort of South Africa, maybe South America. I can't imagine the whole. I don't know all of the detail, but what his plan was to do there is so that people can do micro tasks on the mobile phones, and then with regards to that, bring them out of poverty, so they're at least earning $12,000 or £12,000 yearly, which means that they can at least afford to put a roof over their head and eat. Now, this is another thing that I think as well. I'm not overly materialistic. I don't really relish a lot of material gifts or things. I mean, I'd love a new saxophone, but that's beside the point. So I think people get lost in materialism and you forget what's actually really valued in this life, which is just literally, if you've got a roof over your head, you've got food in your stomach and you've got clean water, then you are richer than, 75% of the population, maybe even more. And I think people forget these things.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I know I forget them too, and it's the reminder is always, it's always nice. And those people are, as you said, Tone's only talking about charts. They don't think about what the bottom line is here. In fact, I don't know if you saw all of Craig's talks at CoinGeek. Or not CoinGeek, but the recent one where the pumpkin incident, what I'd like to talk about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was watching them yesterday. Honest to God, like since the Soul conference, I have not laughed so much at all.
Right.
Like, you've got Ryan X. Charles, who is obviously the CEO of Money Button, and Money Button is an amazing thing for identity on the internet. Wearing a Goldilocks wig, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. I was wetting myself. You got Brendan Lee, who has been working on, I know he's been working, because I suggested about putting NHS on BSV, blockchain, and I know he was working on medical records. So he was wearing a rainbow wig, which also made me laugh. And I don't know if it was Bobby Lee or Charlie Lee. It looked like Bobby Lee. It might not have been Bobby. It could have been Charlie, but it's very similar looking. And he was wearing a blue wig. And that just made me laugh as well. But then all this stuff about pumpkins, did you see Bing today as well? Microsoft's
No.
Bing search engine. It's just covered in pictures of pumpkins.
Oh, really?
And I also had this theory about Craig's Red Sox. Now, it's probably not, it's probably neither here nor there. However, there are two theories I've got. Red Sox is when he means business, but also you've got the Boston Red Sox, and they actually won this year. So I don't know if it was a subliminal message to say put some money on the Boston Red Sox or not.
Wow, that would be hilarious. Okay, so I've got to give people some context about the pumpkin incident. In fact, I'm going to play the clip here because it's pretty hilarious. I don't know if you'll see it because
well, I keep looking down because I've got my phone on my knee. So
great. Okay, great. I don't know if you'll see it here,
so
but
sorry.
I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it, and then I'll come back. I'll come back to you. Okay. So this is an incident with Craig Wright. It happened at a conference where he was. Craig Wright, Satoshi Nakamoto. And this lady, earlier I said the tomatoes and the pumpkin farming situation, that would come up. This is why. Here's the clip.
You can choose not to have anything to do with me. The same way you can choose not to have anything to do with the internet.
That's exactly what you want. You are a mole trying to crash Bitcoin. Farmer Craig, Pumpkin Man Craig, go back to your farm, your pumpkins and your tomatoes, and grow a super farm.
Oh, sorry. With that, I created it. You get to live it.
It's not going to matter. You are bogus.
It's going to be in prison within the next couple of years.
Okay, so what's going on there, Diddy Whedon? Can you tell me what's going on there? Because it's quite strange.
She's so angry. I think obviously she must be somebody who's really into BTC. That's all I can say. Is she obviously has been quite hurt herself, maybe financially, because of what Craig's doing to get BTC, or to basically get Bitcoin back to being what it originally was supposed to be on the Litecoin, which is peer-to-peer. So I mean, she's got a lot of audacity, to be honest with you, to stand up and say that to him. But that's what I think. I think she's lost a lot of money because of Craig's intervention.
Oh yeah, that would, or stands to lose a lot of money because the market hasn't crashed yet. I mean, Craig's talked about, and it makes perfect sense to me, how all of these coins and all of these projects that people are people's livelihoods could very well and probably will very well go to zero. And they're starting to see the writing on the wall. Like, oh God, this is all, we're all screwed.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I don't know if you saw River's charts or not. River, the Satoshi sisters. So her charts recently. I mean, if you don't buy BSV now, then I don't know. I think you're going to be lost with the Neanderthals in a couple of years' time, if that makes sense. I don't mean to be rude to anybody, but
Wait, what's the phrase you said there? Lost in the night?
Neanderthal.
What does that mean?
Well, you're going to be like a caveman, basically.
Oh, yes.
So yeah. It amuses me, but I do understand that if you invested a lot of money into BTC and then you realise that BTC was hijacked by criminals and it's now not what the promise of BTC, Bitcoin was going to be, and now you've dedicated your life and your business to that, and now you have to move over to BSV blockchain, then obviously it is going to be a bit painful for you. But unfortunately, you should have done your research in the first place and found out exactly what BTC was or what Bitcoin should be, and understand that what BTC isn't what Bitcoin white paper was, which is what I did, which is why I didn't really lose. I must admit, I did get scammed a little bit, but I didn't lose a lot of money at all, to be fair. And what I actually invested in BSV actually, has made me quite a nice little profit, so I could afford this degree, which is great for me. And plus, I've still got some left, which is brilliant. So I'm still investing in BSV.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I still have some Bitcoin Cash I haven't gotten off of a forked wallet, but it is.
Well, you see, when I tried to actually do that, when BCH forked, I got scammed out of my BCH and my BSV.
I don't doubt it.
I
There's
did
so many
tell
scams
Roger about.
What's that?
I did actually tell Roger about it, but he couldn't help me because I'd lost my seed.
Oh yeah, classic case of
yeah,
Bitcoin.
Classic case. I didn't know.
Okay, so actually, but the idea of getting into learning about BSV and what it takes, it's kind of its own proof of work. Like it's kind of filtered it down to only people who are willing to do it. And that's going to be, I think there could be, as you said, money to be made in this, not investment advice, but it's only going to the people who are looking into it. Which is interesting.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind. There are plenty. I mean, there's talk about IBM coming on board. There's talk about Microsoft coming on board. Because they can receive micro payments easily, and You've already got the identity with the money button. So, and I do think, I think it would be brilliant because the one thing that is brilliant is that Craig is based in the UK, and the Cambridge MetaNet Society, which is the society where they're building now the new MetaNet to replace the internet, which will all run on micropayments. So there's a couple of websites that I really recommend. Obviously, I really recommend the book Satoshi's Vision. If you want to know what Bitcoin is, then that book is available on Amazon, and it's only about £11. And it's a real. I like manuals. I don't like books. I'm not a normal girly girl, so I do like manuals. And for me, it's quite easy to get my head around it because I do coding and because of the finance management. The other thing I'm invested in is I'm actually an associate producer for my movies. And my movies is Ted Riviera, who I keep saying you should have on the show.
Oh, yeah, he did email me. I haven't gotten back to him, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, basically, if you go to mymovies.us, then what you come across is a website that's basically he won the Bitcoin Associate. Well, he's a semi-finalist in the Bitcoin Association's hackathon, and he's developing the world's first interactive streaming media platform to be run on BSV. So there's already a film up there, and the film that I've invested in, which I'm an associate producer for, okay, along with quite a few other people. I think Cincinnati Jack might actually be an associate producer, or I think he may have invested in there as well. He's currently filming was it? Oh, hold on, let me remember what it's called. It's like the mystery. What is it called? It's called. Let me show you. Sorry for all the gaps. Right, so it is called Lord Timmy and the Mystery of the Last Master. Now, this film we signed the first Hollywood actress via a BSV contract to act in this film. And he's currently filming it, editing it, etc. So that's going to be quite interesting to see that, because it will be the first feature film that will be actually purely made on and for the BSV blockchain on a blockchain platform, which is run by BSV, that anybody can watch. So if you only watch 10 minutes of that particular movie, then you would only have to pay for 10 minutes of it. And I think Streamanity works pretty much the same. And Streamanity is the replacement in the BSV community for YouTube, which is being developed currently at the moment. There are a few things on it which would be useful. Like, it would be useful if you could delete some of the videos, but I'm not sure how that would work on blockchain at the minute. So I think they're looking into that kind of thing. The other thing is, if you're an artist, musician, and you're interested, there is the bsvgalaxy.net, which is run by Shem, who runs the BSV channel on YouTube. And from the BSV Galaxy, you can get to the metanet.icu, you can get to Bitcoin SV channel, the Bitcoin Association, and Bitco Media. And Bitco Media is where you can actually upload your files onto the blockchain. And the other one is metanet.icu. So if you're interested in, or a developer or a coder or anything like that, and you're interested in how the new internet is going to work, the metanet, then I would highly recommend going to metanet.icu. Have I sold it enough to anybody?
Well, yeah. The thing you mentioned there that I am familiar with is Streamanity, which is kind of like a replacement for YouTube. And the files aren't on Bitcoin, but the thing that's interesting is that it's all based on micropayments. As you said, for whatever you watch, people pay a micro-transaction fee. So I put up an interview on there with 22nd Century Crypto. And
yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, and it was like, I don't know, 40 minutes long. And I think maybe I made the cost $1.50 or something. And I didn't get a lot of views, but it made me, I don't know, $40 from putting that video up. Yeah,
really?
Right? And, it's interesting because here's a question for the chat. Would you pay 1 cent per video to watch the videos I make? 1 cent.
Of course you would. Right. I don't think anybody wouldn't, would you? I mean, 1 cent is neither here nor there, is it? I know I would.
Yeah. I
mean, I put mine, I've got a couple of saxophone videos, and I put two yoga videos. And I've got some binaural beats, but I'm a bit contentious about the binaural beats because I'm sure they got changed to 444 instead of 432. So that actually, they need deleting and putting up again. But yeah, I mean, I've earned like $4.72. I was well happy at that. Well, $40, I'd be, wow.
Well, yeah, and it's only possible with Bitcoin because you couldn't have somebody paying with PayPal, a penny, because to send someone $1 even on PayPal, it'll cost you 40 cents.
Yeah, you see, that's what happened with BTC. It was it was micropayments, and then all of a sudden, I wanted to send £5, and it was going to cost me £15 to send £5. And I thought, what is going on here? And I noticed a lot of businesses at that point who were using it for micropayments completely failed because of the transaction fees.
Oh, yeah, and they stopped using it, and I think it was the intended overtaking of Bitcoin is that it wouldn't be useful anymore. And with these go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, that's when Adam Meister, on his rhetoric on his channel, was completely, Bitcoin is gold, and it shouldn't be used for micropayments. And I used to argue the toss with them. Like anybody would say that. When I go back to River's chart, it's quite interesting because she noted that a lot of people were using Dash, Monero, and what's the other privacy coins, because they think that they're private and they won't get traced, which is not true at all, because any blockchain can be traced. Your transactions will be traced. So I think this is something that people don't actually realize as well, is that if you are going to use a blockchain, then you need to understand that every single transaction that you make on that particular blockchain is traceable.
Yes, but we should. Yeah, and the thing that people, I think, confuse that was they think, Big Brother's always watching. Well, we still should have a right to privacy, and it should only be unmasked, so to speak, if it is, Americans would say the Fourth Amendment, if it's a legal search and seizure. So just like They could come into your house and, your house is registered, your flat is registered as where you live. The only way they can come in and look around is if they have a legal cause to do so. Whereas they're spying on everything now anyway. They record all your phone conversations, everything. And that's what Bitcoin, as you said you wanted to get NHS involved. If the government had to record everything they did that the people could see, because they have to be transparent, that would really add a whole new level of transparency while keeping privacy better than we have now.
Completely. But I mean, the thing with the way I see the NHS, I think it needs a lot of work on it, and especially with the Mental Health Act as well. Our Mental Health Act was 1983 and then amended 2007, so it doesn't take in any consideration of the fact that almost everybody walks around with a mobile computer in their hands. I mean, I know there's still quite a large majority of people that, like, I've got an Apple iPhone and I use my iPhone for everything. It's my computer. It does powerful things, whereas I know there are some people that still just use a phone to phone people or to send a text message. However, the younger generation now, you need to really get on board with, the language that they use, because they just talk in emojis all the time. The fact that they actually just they don't watch TV, they watch Netflix, Amazon Prime and YouTube. And they are a lot smarter than your average kind of old age pensioner in this country who has had a lot of life experience. This is the only thing. They're super intelligent, but they lack the life experience. And I think that is something that only comes with, age, etc. I'm rambling now. But yeah, go on, carry on.
I love a good ramble. Yeah. And,
because I was talking about the NHS, wasn't I? I think it's in a bit of a state, and I do think that Bitcoin would actually, BSV blockchain would actually really help to clean up the NHS, to save the NHS a lot of money, and especially when he's talking about putting, your VAT or your tax to come out at source. Like even the DWP, which is our Department of Works and Pensions, if they just put the NHS and the DWP onto the BSV blockchain, then our economy would be so much healthier. And I understand that completely. And I don't understand why some of these MPs don't understand it. But then that's because of lack of education. And they still think, because there's this massive rhetoric around that Bitcoin is still a crime coin. And this is what is kind of getting through that sludge and getting through that mud of what people like Tone Bays and Adam Meister and Fluffy Pony and all these people, they've all put into the rhetoric of, we need to get away from that and we need to re-educate people into what BSV is actually about.
Yeah, it would bring a lot of transparency to the government, don't you think?
Yeah, which is not a bad thing at all. It's a really good thing. But it was also,
necessary.
If you can get VAT and tax at source, then you're saving them a fortune, an absolute fortune.
Oh yeah, don't you think it's funny how people say, "Oh, Bitcoin wastes so much energy," but it brings so much efficiency?
It doesn't waste. This is the thing. When you weigh up how much energy it uses for how much you're actually saving in, the process of actually using it, and what you could save in the economy, it's minuscule the amount of energy. You look at what the oil companies, how much carbon emissions they actually leave on the world. I mean, I think 30% of all carbon emissions come from every single oil company that has ever existed.
Yeah, I'm not well versed on that. But no doubt that Bitcoin is bringing transparency, and transparency, I think, is the only way forward for society.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, Diddy, I got one more funny one, and then one to wrap it up. But okay. So Carl Weathers asks, Diddy, can you do an American accent?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Coffee? You can have a coffee, please. That's about it. I'm not very good with accents.
Oh,
I can do a bit of Brummie, which is have some chips and gravy, please. And I can do a bit of Australian.
That sounds like Helena Bonham Carter in Sweeney Todd, talking about her pies. She even talks about gravy in there. Have a bit of gravy. Yeah.
When I worked at Nottingham Playhouse, she did do a play once at Nottingham Playhouse when I was kind of around working there. I was a sound and lighting technician to start off with. That's what I trained as in the theatre.
Cool. Was she brilliant?
Well, she is eccentric and absolutely phenomenal at what she does. When she gets into a character, yeah, I mean, she is one of the better ones. I mean, I really admire Maggie Smith as an actress. She was an assistant stage manager. She started off as, and I would love to be a combination of Maggie Smith and Yoko Ono. Probably seems a bit of a weird combination, but those two women are my heroines, and John Lennon's my hero.
Cool. And when you did the coffee accent, it sounded like you were from Chicago, like a specifically Chicago accent, because I'm from there. You want some coffee? What's that?
I do a good Scouse accent, but that's because my mother's family are all Scouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
There's
a lady called Adelina Bond, and she's on YouTube, and she does tarot readings. And oh my goodness, Adelina Bond, she's such a beautiful lady, but she's Australian too. So I do kind of try and copy accents. It helps with my acting. Oh yeah, and I've been just quickly. So I'm going to be learning Christmas carols on my saxophone, because I'm going to be stilt walking at Christmas playing a ghost. So we're not doing Santa this year and elves.
Wow.
But I'm going to be doing Oliver's Twisted Christmas, and I think I'm going to be playing a ghost who's walking on stilts. So I'm either the ghost of Christmas past, present, or future. Not sure which one yet.
I really hope we get some video of that.
Hopefully we'll be able to. Well, I can get Santa to do a message again, though. That's not a problem.
If you see him, tell him I say hi.
I will see Santa, yeah. So I can get Santa to give a special message to the show again. I think that'll be 3 years running.
It's a tradition by this point.
Yeah, it is a tradition. I will see my Santa, and I will ask him specifically for a favor. No problem.
I'm honored. Okay, so in closing, Diddy, do you have any suggestions of what people should do if they want to learn about Bitcoin? And
buy the book.
Buy the book, Satoshi Vision: The Art of Bitcoin.
It's on Amazon.
Amazon, great.
It's on Amazon.
By Craig S. Wright.
That's the only way you'll know the truth.
Is by learning it. Yeah, doing your own research, thinking for yourself. So in that, any closing thoughts or things you want to plug or anything else, Diddy? Close us out.
Yes, I want to plug your show because it's absolutely phenomenal. And you said to me that it had been about 100 shows, which is also phenomenal. So that's 2 years.
Oh yeah, it has been about that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, or at least that's 2 years of dedicated watching live streams. I know I've missed a few, and I know you started when you started. I know I was one of the first people watching.
Oh, absolutely.
I just want to say that you've done a phenomenal job, Craig, and you should be very proud of yourself. A, you're still going. B, you're doing shows every day. C, you've grown your audience phenomenally, which is just purely through, got the word now. You've become viral.
Well, thank you, Diddy. I'm honored. You're too kind. And thank you for coming on. You are a wonderful guest, and thank you for supporting this channel for so long. It means a lot to me.
All right. I'm just sorry I don't send you more donations.
Dude, don't worry about that at all. You provided more value than I deserve. So thank you.
Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you. There are two more things, though. Two more things. If you are interested in BSV, I suggest that you get the wallet called Hand Cash, and then you can buy BSV in the Hand Cash wallet, and you get yourself a little handle. My handle is Diddy, at Diddy. So you can give yourself, if you're, like at Cosmetti, at Craig, at Diddy, Hand Cash. And there's another one called Zeus, which is ZEUX. And I use that wallet quite a lot. It's a UK-based one, so I probably only UK people can use it. But it's got a 5% interest on the savings account, which is yearly, and it's also a crypto wallet, and you can hook that up to your Apple Pay or Samsung Pay. So, for example, you can pay over £30 in contactless because it's Apple Pay. And that's me signing off. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Diddy. Have a great day.
See you later.
Adios.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Love you all.
Diddy Whedon, everybody. Boom. So that was a crash course in some Bitcoin info from Diddy Whedon, the ledge. It's so quiet in here now. after you talk to somebody. Now it's just me.